June 2024 is going to be a month of new insights and epiphanies, changing the way you tackle life and think about the world. Hello, I'm Barralet and welcome to my monthly astrological forecast where we look at what is happening up in the heavens and how we can use the gifts of Mother Earth to actually guide us through and support us in the lessons that are prevailing and are evident for us. So let's dive straight in, and today we're going to dive in with something happening on the 2nd of June, and this is Gong retrograde. No, I'm not just making up planet names. It is a dwarf planet that's out beyond Pluto. Now Gong is named after a Chinese water god. He's said to be a man with fiery red hair and then the body of a dragon or a serpent. Now in his mythology, he gets very frustrated and he bangs his head against one of the Chinese mountains and causes a bit of disturbance and reshapes the mountain. The interesting thing is what Gong represents is kind of this insight, especially in the fields of like science and technology and the way we do things. And when Gong goes into retrograde, what tends to happen is we find we get stuck, we end up banging our head against the wall, but from that frustration, new insights come. So this is a really great time for you to you may start to feel around the start of June a bit frustrated. Allow yourself to sit in that frustration and ask questions like, if I knew what the answer is, what would it be? Kind of toy with that because you're stuck because what you were doing previously isn't working any longer. It's about time for a transformation. You're about to break out of that cocoon. Now, a really great crystal to work with at this time is Larimar. First of all, Gong is a water god, and Larimar obviously has a strong connection to water. You can just even look at the watery appearance of it. But Larimar is very much helps us go with the flow, helps us open up to new possibilities, and can be used as an abundance crystal. Now you might think, oh well, golden and yellow and green crystals, they're normally abundance crystals, but this is about allowing abundance to come into your life. And so Larimar would be really great to work with while Gong's kind of coming into retrograde, to allow that kind of freedom of thought and ideas and allow those epiphanies to come. Now, pair that with the essential oil, Japanese peppermint. When you smell Japanese peppermint, it's got a very fresh, it's like peppermint, but it's got a kind of a cleaner, fresher aroma. And I often refer to it as epiphany mint. It's an amazing rare oil to work with during Gong retrograde, but just anytime when you want to meditate and you want to have these new insights or epiphanies, really, really beautiful. So using that oil around the 2nd of June is really going to support you. After that, on the 6th, we then go into our new moon. Our new moon is in the same sign that's celebrating the birthdays, us. It's the Geminis, that's right. So the new moon in Gemini is a time to think about what is not serving me mentally or learning or intellectually wise in my mind. How do I shift that, and what are my new approaches? So it's a great time to do any mindset work, to see, what isn't serving you. You may decide you want to learn something new, you want to tackle something new, but it's all about how the mind works in this way. Take this time to get rid of negative thought patterns, negative habits, anything to do with mental health. This is a very good time to kind of make resolutions around mental health, and then make some new resolutions about, right, this is what I'm going to do going forward. Basically, the thoughts that you have in your mind dictate your life. Whether you think life is great or whether you think it's crap, basically determines how your life turns out. And it's been found in scientific research that we tend to look for what we believe. So if you believe that the world is crap and falling apart, you'll see evidence of that. If you see that it's amazing and that there are great things happening, you'll see evidence of that. So we want to go to that positive to bring your life up. And this is a really great thing to focus on that new moon in Gemini. Hypothene. It's a black crystal, but you'll see as I kind of move it, you get these flashes of light. And when it's tumbled, you get really bright, brilliant kind of flashes of light as well. Just like new moon energy, black crystals are great, but with those flashes in it, let's have some new ideas. And Gemini, that energy of Gemini will really come through. So work with your hypothene, carry it, wear it, keep it near you, and meditate with it on that night of the new moon. Pair that with another Gemini oil, lemongrass. Really, really great. Lemongrass I like to call the sword of light. If you think about the plant, it is this long swords or blade, and it cuts through and brings this new clarity. So a really, really great one for helping you get that new insight and clear away things that aren't serving you. We use lemongrass physically and even around our home to detoxify and to cleanse and to clean. And you can use it on that mental sphere as well. So, Gong's on the 2nd when he goes retrograde, new moon on the 6th. You've got a bit of a break, and then we kind of have these big procession of astrological events happening later in the month. The next thing that's happening is quite a significant one I often find in my life. It's happening on the 19th of June, and it is Psyche retrograde. Now, I'd really encourage you, if you haven't read the myth of Psyche and Eros, it's really worth reading and even kind of getting a bit of deeper understanding of what Psyche is all about. Psyche is a love asteroid, but whereas Venus is about all your relationships, Psyche is about love. It's about soulmates. It's about romance. And so what tends to happen, this I find to be the retrograde of the year, which challenges your romantic relationship the most. Every year, it normally happens once a year, when it kicks in, I notice that there's some tension and some stress with me and my partner. And it's a really great time to analyze what we want in a relationship. Basically, what Psyche is getting us to do is to get clear in, is this a relationship that I want to be in, or is it not? Is this a lifelong relationship? When you look at the myth of Psyche and Eros, you'll see she went to the ends of the earth to be with her love. Is this a relationship that you want to be in to the end of your days and would go to the end of earth for? So it's really good, because if you're not with your soulmate now, don't waste another year. And Psyche will help to bring that up. It's really interesting at this time to look at what your Psyche sign is and understand what your soul desires in love, and also what your partner is their Psyche sign is as well. Now, if you're single, it can be still really great to explore your Psyche sign and get to know, what does my soul want? It can be very, very different to our Venus sign and some of our other love asteroids, but I find this one a really, really powerful one. So when it comes to soul work, we work with the most powerful of the pink crystals. Kunzite is really, really great at this time. Those that are in relationships is really good for strengthening the bonds if you decide that this is a relationship you are going to keep going with. And if you're single, it's really great for attracting soulmates as well. To bring in that kind of energy of honesty, bring in pink pepper. Pink pepper resonates really beautifully with Psyche, and I love using this essential oil to help you be true in your communication. First of all, to yourself. Am I just dealing with too much? Am I putting up with too much? Am I sacrificing too much? Or is this just natural compromise in a relationship? Is this what my soul truly desires? Is my soul getting nurtured and supported in my life quest by this person, or is it a hindrance? And then, if you need to have open and honest conversations, then use pink pepper to stop you biting your tongue and feel confident to actually say, hey, I need a bit more support here. This is what I'm looking for. I really want this to work, but blah, 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 and all those types of things. So really beautiful support around that 19th of June when Psyche does go into retrograde. Next, on the 21st, we hit our solstice. Now, this is going to depend which hemisphere you're in on how we celebrate this. If you're in the southern hemisphere, it's going to be the winter solstice. This is the longest night of the year, and it is said that the following morning, it is when the new sun god is born and we start to head towards sunshine and summer. But you're a little while off from that. First of all, we're looking at, it's like a New Year's energy type of thing and starting afresh. It's a really great time in the midst of the cold to work with the crown chakra. So working with amethyst can be really beautiful just to slow you down, connect with your spirituality, and think about, let's get a spiritual foundation for the next year. Lavender is a really beautiful one to diffuse around this time. Use it as many different ways as you can. On the night of the winter solstice, it's great to take a bath in yuzu essential oil. It's following a tradition of a yuzu ute, which is when Japanese people will actually take a bath on the winter solstice night with yuzu fruit floating in the water to cleanse away the past 12 months. The following day, cleansing your space with birch is really great to get rid of all the unwanted energy as well. But bring out your amethyst and bring out your lavender, those really contemplative oils and crystals to kind of sit with that energy of Yule or the winter solstice. And I do have a full video on Yule or the winter solstice. Same thing, different names. Check that out for more hints and tips on there. Now, on the 21st of June, if you're in the northern hemisphere, you're going to be soaking up the sun, I hope, because it is the summer solstice, the longest day of the year, and is when the sun is at its full energy. We have 13 full moons a year. but only one full sun. So this is a great time to take advantage of that solar energy and soak it up for yourself. I like to infuse a quartz crystal with that sun energy, keeping the quartz crystal out in the sun all day and using that throughout the year whenever I need that yang or that masculine or that solar energy as well. We feel very sociable at this time. We get out and about. It's a really great time to work on the solar plexus chakra. Working with your citrine, working with your bergamot essential oil, really bring that joy, that lightness, that sociability, and help you to balance your solar plexus chakra, which is really great to do on the summer solstice. Again, check out my full-length video on the summer solstice, also known as midsummer, on my channel, which will give you lots of hints and tips, including how to test your chakra and other activities that you can do as well. Now, happening on the same day, it probably won't be as significant, but a minor asteroid is going into retrograde, but it is one of my favorite deities, so she gets an honorable mention. Isis, the asteroid Isis, goes into retrograde. Now, Isis as an asteroid governs unity, bringing things together in people, but also bringing things together as though we're making a magical spell and kind of, combining powers together. What will happen when she goes retrograde is she takes her power away from the earth, and you may actually find that things aren't coming together and people aren't coming together. This is a great time to look at, okay, what's not working? Am I trying to force square pegs into round holes? Am I trying to, is there a lack of unity? And if there is a lack of unity anywhere in your life, this will definitely show around this time. There's a couple of crystals that work really well with Isis. First of all, carnelian. It's a creativity and a creation crystal, and if you feel that you need to bring things together to make the world and unity and things work a little bit better in your life, start working with this. And if you need a bit of magical help, lapis lazuli is sacred to Isis as well, and really, really beautiful. The essential oil that I'll be using is Indian sandalwood. Indian sandalwood is really great at merging people together. Men wearing sandalwood actually makes them more attractive. It mimics one of your pheromones. So apparently Brad Pitt smells like sandalwood. I don't know. I haven't got that close to him yet. Sounds like I'm trying to stalk him. You know what I mean. Anyone who's let us know in the comments if you've smelt Brad Pitt before. But if you think about sandalwood, it is, it's a parasitic tree. It actually reaches out and relies on others. So it's about connection. It also has this grounding aroma to it, but also the spiritual aroma to it. And so it's about bringing spirit and physical into union with each other. So what I guess I'm saying is, with this Isis retrograde, is you're going to find things aren't fitting together well in your life. And this is a chance to go, well, what needs to change so that there is a better fit? Carnelian brings the creativity, lapis lazuli brings that magic, and sandalwood brings that alignment and that unity back together. So work with them. Because it is a minor asteroid, you may not notice this as much. If you're really sensitive to energies, or maybe if Isis is prominent in your birth chart, always worth checking out, then you may be more impacted by this. But around that time, you may want to have a bit of lapis, a bit of carnelian, and get that Indian sandalwood as well as you celebrate that solstice, whichever day, whichever hemisphere you're in. Now, the following day, we actually go into our new moon. It's on the 20th. Let me just double check. I'm doing all this off memory. It is the 22nd, yes. So we've gone from a full sun to a full moon. This full moon is going to be in Capricorn. Now, Capricorn is very much about going from a full sun to a full moon. On the 22nd of June, we then have our full moon in Capricorn. Capricorn is the sign that governs our public life, our career, our job. And this is a time to work some magic in how you want to up-level your public life. Do you want a promotion? Do you want to change something about your work or your business? Do you want to do some work and some magic on your legacy? How will you be remembered by the world once you're gone? It doesn't necessarily have to be what you get paid to do. It may be something else that you're contributing in a greater scheme. Maybe you're writing a book. Maybe you're writing a course. Maybe you're a leader of some kind of community group. How can you build on that? So this is couple of crystals that can work really well at this time. Normally I'd recommend Naturalite. Naturalite's really good for it's got a springtime energy. It really helps us to have this vibrancy, and it's great for people who want to do a lot in their world and in their life and achieve a lot. But I was really drawn to work with Capricorn for this full moon. Capricorn is a combination of feldspar. You've got the magenta is udilite, and the black is fedosinite. And you get this real kind of gracefulness when you work with Capricorn. Capricorn, I actually find, it actually helps as soon as I touch it, it almost makes me want to straighten my back and stand up straight and have that grace that we often respect with the Capricorn energy, being very professional, upstanding, and graceful. So if you want to kind of work with feeling more confident navigating your public life and how you appear in the public arena, this can be a really beautiful crystal to work with. And of course, being a white crystal, it's beautiful to work with on the full moon in Capricorn. The essential oil to pair with this time is Siberian fir. The Siberian fir tree spends a lot of its time covered in snow. And so snow, which I kind of see as a material form of white light that comes, cleanses, brings a time of contemplation, and then when it melts, it brings new life. White light cleanses and brings new life as well. Siberian fir is basically white light in a bottle. How exciting is that? So this is a really beautiful essential oil to work with at this time, to cleanse away things that don't work, to bring in that white light energy, which we kind of use a lot on the full moon as well, but also to bring this strength. There's a real strength in Siberian fir because it does endure that process of cleansing the white light and, being able to handle that. So I really would encourage you to work with this essential oil around this time to give you that strength and stability, to go out there and to create your legacy, to make something significant out in the world, and to be remembered for something, to make your life count. This is what the full moon in Capricorn is, when we make resolutions and convene with the universe and go, what do I want to do, universe? This is what I'm planning. Can you support me? Can you create opportunities for me? Can you manifest something? Can you heal something for me? Really, really beautiful. And Siberian fir will help to create those opportunities, cleanse away things that are blocking those opportunities, and give you the strength to follow through. Now, our final thing that's happening is we have a major planetary retrograde happening on the 30th of June. That is Saturn is going into retrograde. Now with Saturn, you can always pick Saturn when you look at the lineup. It's renowned for those rings around the planet. Now those rings are often seen to symbolize constriction or restriction and, limitations. But I actually like to look at Saturn as governing discipline. And what will happen when Saturn goes into retrograde is wherever you lack discipline will become rather evident. So you may notice that actually I'm not exercising as much as I should. Actually, I am eating a bit too much or eating the wrong types of food. Actually, I'm staying up too late. Actually, I'm, letting that person bug me when I resolve not to, whatever that may be. Self-discipline is an act of self-love. And that's exactly what Saturn is trying to teach you when you find your lack of self-discipline being made evident from this date. So what happens is, if you think about, self-love isn't bubble baths and, chocolates and treating yourself and getting facials and all that type of thing. It's part of it. It's very nourishing and nurturing. But more so what it's about is, how do we love a child? Do we let a child do whatever they want? No. We go to bed on time, eat your vegetables. Why? Because we know it's good for you and because we love you. And so Saturn is at the same time helping you to be more disciplined with how you live your life and showing evidence of where you're not disciplined so that you can fix that up. This is where petersite, a really beautiful crystal, is really great for bringing in to help you harness your discipline and connect with your discipline more, because like the flashes that you get in this stone, it's like flashes or crashes of lightning. Lightning doesn't kind of go, oh, where should I hit the earth today? It's like, bang! It knows exactly what it wants to do. And that's exactly what Saturn wants. Saturn governs time. And remember, the time is ticking for all of us. We don't know how much longer we've got on this planet. And so we want to kind of make sure we are doing what's going to be best for ourselves and our life quest. And Saturn is refining it to stop you pissing away your time, your energy, your resources, your money, and so on. A really great discipline time for the year. But at the same time, it's about self-love. Loving yourself enough to do the things that you know you need to do. Basil, a really great oil for, I don't know why I have to show you the label, but there you go. Basil is a really great oil to work with at this time. Basil I use a lot for fatigue. Often we become fatigued or exhausted when we're trying to do everything for everyone, be everything in the world, and we're not focusing on what's core important. Basil focuses our mind. It's the same as Peter side. It's got a very scorpionic energy. It's very, you kind of say very lightning in that way. So really, really beautiful to work with to help you focus on what is important to you. So what you're going to find at the start of the month with Gong going retrograde and that new moon in Gemini, there's a real opportunity for new insights and new clarity. What do I need to change in my life? As we go through, we're going to look at our, on the 19th with Psyche retrograde, we're going to look at how we want to be supported by the most important person or our soul people in our lives. We then get a bit of a introspective time if you're in the southern hemisphere, or if you're in the northern hemisphere, it's going to be a time of celebration and sociability, getting out there, maybe sharing some ideas. We're going to look at what bringing people together with Isis retrograde. We're going to think about our legacy and getting out in the world with the full moon in Capricorn, and then we've got that Saturn retrograde, which is about that discipline as well. So I really see this flow throughout the month of June, going from realizing some things that aren't working and having some new insights and new ideas, changing our mindset, and looking at our relationships and the people that are in our lives, and maybe making any adjustments there before then going, right, I'm ready, and then setting our focus on what we want to achieve in our life. So it's a really turning point kind of month in June. It is the middle of the year, obviously, but I think there's so many great opportunities. Remember that if you subscribe to my newsletter at adambarralet.com, there'll be updates, as well as on Facebook and Instagram. I'll be navigating you through each of these a little bit more detailed as they come up, so we know exactly what to do. Never freak out with a retrograde, a full moon, or any other astrological occurrence. It's just like the weather. And when we know it's raining outside, what do? We take an umbrella. In this case, when you know something astrologically is happening, just grab your essential oils, grab your crystals, and they'll help you to navigate and learn the lessons so that next year you don't have to repeat that lesson again. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I'm Adam Barralet. Blessed be.